Hey people. Hey there. If you're anything like me and are always scavenging for whatever you can get when it comes to technology, if someone's gonna throw it out and you're like, I'll throw it out for you. I always end up with all kinds of spare parts. Some of them are more useful than others. SATA cables. It's even fun to have a little rainbow of different choices for different builds. I don't even know if I'll end up using them all because I have NVMEs in most things. Then there's chunky stuff. I keep them for pieces of metal if I ever needed it. Just cut out something there if you needed just a tiny piece. And you'll find a lot of screws and spare parts like that. And then a little bit smaller items like this. I don't even know what these were for. But I found them in a lot of 5.5, 5.25 in those drive bays. They're just like gap fillers. I don't know why there's an arrow pointing up. If it is this way, would the computer not work? What I've done in a weird situation, cut off all these little tabs, drill holes, and you got odd-sized washers. So many different things you can do with junk. I've been collecting something a little bit cooler than that, or at least more useful. I think it's time to make a new build. So I'm gonna go into the workshop and take a look. Here we are. I've been saving, collecting, I wouldn't say hoarding, but I don't know, look. And this ain't all of them, mostly 500s and terabyte. I'm just like all the other random spare parts when all the workstations went to be recycled or taken care of. I actually lucked out. Half of them already had these disconnected because they'd already moved to just a 2.5-inch SSD. I think a good majority of these, even though they're old, they are old. The dates on them are quite old. They're 2014, so this one's a decade old. But it may have less than like 100 hours of use. I have no idea. What I'm planning on doing, building a NAS. It's yet to be determined what kind or how big. It can't be all that big. Unraid, that's my go-to anymore. You can get everything done on just a straight up Debian 12 vanilla and Proxmox. I've messed with doing just a storage array on Proxmox, and there's a lot of stuff that you can do anything on any of these types of systems. So for me, I might just stick with Unraid because it's what I'm familiar with. Looks like this drive's about to fall, so we'll just see if it does. A lot of people probably wouldn't even want to do this, just power consumption. Hooking up a whole bunch of hard drives for not much storage is just counterintuitive. It's not efficient at all, but I'm gonna have fun, and I got this tool. I got stuff to. If I already have the stuff, that's about all I need to try to do something. It doesn't have to be like saving me a ton of money or the coolest thing ever. It's just like, I thought of something that's possible with what I have right now. Past that, with all these drives being relatively low storage, I probably won't mix them. If I put them all in Unraid in an array, when I had to choose parity, I would have to use the biggest drive, therefore wasting the rest of it. Yeah, so on that note, I will split these up. Actually, I didn't decide yet. I'll see what I can fit. All right, so a challenge with this is going to be computers don't have enough SATA ports for all these drives, and getting power, getting a motherboard with enough SATA connection. I'm also gonna have to find a motherboard that's gonna support all these if I don't have an add-on card. Now, there are add-on cards, and I actually do have one, so I don't know why I said it like that, but right here. This was in one of it's a Dell PowerEdge server that is an oldie and probably not even a goodie. It was my first foray into servers. And it supports, I believe, 6 connections. But the issue with using this, there we go. The power, this has a special 4-pin that I don't think it even plugged into the motherboard. I had them directly from the PSU. Tried to match these up. I thought like if I have a motherboard that only has the 4 pins by the CPU and the power supply has 8 pins, maybe that would work on this. Might, but they don't fit. They're not made to go in there with little angles on them and everything. And I'm not afraid to make my own adapters and all that jazz, only if I have to. It really sucks too the way that this is designed. The connector for the data on the SATA, it's not on anymore. Data on the side. It's one piece that goes across both the power and the data. So you can't just split it in half and use your own power. And it's actually, I don't like it. Maybe that's Dell's way of doing the whole like, well, you gotta stick with our style. I don't know. So this is an option, but I don't know if I'll use it. On top of that, if not using something like that, you're gonna have to have a power supply that also supports more than your standard 6 or so, maybe? I don't know what a standard is, or if they even have a standard, and if everyone uses modular, then there isn't a standard on that part. So, a couple challenges, but I think I'll be able to figure it out. Did I have another point to make right now? I don't think so. Enough power, enough SATA ports. I have a motherboard down here that I'm currently using. It's actually what's running this guy. I think it has 8. That might be the most I can think of offhand, but I have it being used for something else. I don't really want to take it apart, but if I have to, even if I have to just to like finish the project, just to get it out of my brain. Oh, I'm looking right now. One of my other projects, it has a whole row at the bottom. I don't know if they can be, sometimes you have to turn in the motherboard, like use these or use those instead of use them all. We'll have to see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 15 drives right here, right now, and I don't want to split it up into like 6 each. So I think I'm gonna have to get creative on this. Oh yeah, the other challenge, the other challenge is getting anything to put all of them in. I mean, it's not like a huge stack. If I stacked them up right now, it might be like that tall, but you don't want to smash together. You gotta have airflow, you gotta have space. Being able to put like 256 gigs on this tiny guy, and then I'm gonna have like something the size of a mini fridge. But we will get it done. We will make it. Trying to think of other obstacles. I don't think so. I looked at my machine down there. I'll take a video and show the ports on it. I didn't even attempt to pull it out and mess with, just because if I can do it with something else, I'm gonna do it with something else. That one's serving its own purpose. That one is its own animal. It's a very old and slow animal, but I like it. So here's these. We have something that I've already done a video on, my water-cooled baby, which currently has 3 drives in it. I believe terabyte drives. Let's get a better look. So there's 2 of them there, and then these 2 black ones there that you don't notice as easily. But this bottom row, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That makes 10. I don't think I could do better than that. If I wanted to, I could do 16 with that card, but I have 15 drives. I think it'd be better to have some parity drives than to do all that I can and then have. Next step is making room. The 3 drive bay is good for 3, but I want to fill this up. I want to put a whole 10 of them. A whole 10. I think we're gonna have to do some modifications, which I ain't got no problem with. I'm gonna take the drive that's in here out, and of course I'll get rid of the screws. So I'll probably go bam, 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 bam. That gets us up to 7, and then past that, what I'm seeing immediately is down here. I believe I get a drive here. Bam, 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 bam. If I'm gonna do this, I'm not gonna start with the one that's gonna fall off and crash to the floor when I accidentally bump it. Oh yeah, that's plenty flat there. I was afraid there was gonna be like a bump in the middle that I wasn't seeing. And as soon as I turn my head, they'll domino off, which I'm still not betting against. Go. Good enough for the girls that day. So that's solved. I'll just mount it from the inside, have them all sticking on the outside of the case. That'll be really good for airflow. Just put a boxed fan behind it and call it a day. Man, I'm a genius. Actually, I have a wild card. Wild card, bitches! Another player has entered the chat, or player 2 has entered the game. I think that's more of what I was looking for. I think I just found a cheat. I'm thinking I'll do something like that. Oh, I can't mount to the front because the fan's there. Unless I move the fan, I'm not against that. Before I get ahead of myself, I need to see if the screws will even line up. Could definitely put it anywhere up here. Just do a visual representation. Ta-da! So that's the game plan. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, come on, come on. Got a whole bunch of these screws that I think are made to fit in certain like slots. I think they're made to fit into these grooves. Yeah. I've got a couple bins full of them and no other real purpose. This first one, I decided to go the opposite way and start from the bottom. It already lines up. Not great or anything, and those nubs being protruded doesn't help things, but it's less drilling, less modification. I love to modify things, but I love shortcuts too. That one's not big enough for the screw to go in, so I'm gonna go ahead and drill some of that out. I should probably take the drives that are in there out before I start hammering something. Got it all together. No reason to go overboard when you don't have to. I didn't even strap these in. I might put a zip tie around this. It's wedged in real well, and I'm not going to be moving it. If this had any chance of moving, or if I was giving it to someone or something like that, or putting it somewhere where I didn't trust it not to get moved, I'd probably go overboard with securing it. But for the situation now, the two drives that aren't super secure are even in little plastic enclosures. They have a little bit of a bouncy buffer, a nickname in high school. Really, the more you even mess with them, it would be difficult to, it will be difficult to get them out whenever I want to. I think it's good. Actually, that is one thing I did a little bit unique. Since I'm not using it right now, I have one of the PCIe 6 pins around the 2.5 inch drive, so it's like holding it in its place a little bit more than it would be otherwise. Even without it, I don't think it's going anywhere. Like I had said, it was difficult for me just now to get it moved at all. Magnifico. The table's dragging up. Hey kid, I have the server all tucked away in its beddy by on the bathroom floor, where I spent a lot of my nights as a youth. I have it set in its place. I ended up filling it with the terabyte drives instead of the 500s. Get a little bit better use out of it. All right, let's rock this joint. This will so far be the biggest NAS I've made, the most amount of discs. We're having fun. I like to actually have some order in this, even though it matters not at all. The first time I ever made Unraid server, I just, that one. And every time I went to the page and it lists them, and they were all just in a random fucking order when there were some that could match up. Oh, it drove me nuts. I'm considering putting the 2 terabyte in here, in here.
They have a 1-disc parity that'll cover everything. It'll be the size of 2 discs.
Last night, I had all 10 in there. Wanted to swap one for a 2 terabyte drive and have a 2 terabyte parity, and then all 1 terabyte drive. It'd be perfect. It's just, that drive is either faulty or something else is giving it issues. Whenever I tried to just add the other drives, it was gonna take 8 days to do what it needed to do. And I honestly, I'm not even arguing with that. I didn't have anything on here I cared about, so it's so much easier just to restart. I'll just wipe the config.
Yes, I want it to work. Go forward. Give me progress.
It started. We actually have a number down here. 15 hours. Wonder if that'll speed up. That was a catastrophe. I took the 2 terabyte drive out of the server and put it on a dock on this computer and was copying like a 30 gigabyte file to it. My computer blue screens. I threw that damn drive across the room, and I'm gonna see if I can finally build the array on that goddamn server and put a pin in this. Nice and clean. I'm gonna go back to plan A. What is tickling the bottom of my leg? Fly or something in here. Back to the SAS drive being the parity. Oh god, there was a fucking ant crawling on me. I thought it was a fly. No, it was just like, I felt it on my leg, moved all around, I couldn't see anything, and I just felt it. It went from my sock onto my skin, and now it's writhing in pain. Oh, it just popped back over. I thought it was dying. I'm not gonna smash it into the carpet though. Let it fucking limp out of here and go die in a corner. You've been defeated. You've been bested, so I would withdraw all attacks from this point forward. Well, your son's a moron. It is limping in circles. I feel kind of bad. All right, back to fucking this array that never ends. Just throw these both in there. Fucking ant is back to like 100%. It looks like it's not limping in circles. Now it's coming back towards me. Have you had enough? I wanna know what love is. I want you to show me. That's more like something you would expect. 2.5 hours instead of 8 days. I can live with 2.5 hours. I believe everything's just running fine. And I'll have 8 terabytes here with parity. That ain't bad. All the temps look pretty good, especially right now when things are actually running. It's not idle. And for where it's at, it's in a closet. It is hot. I don't know where this is coming from though. That made, as I freaked out earlier when I saw this, maybe that's just because the parity isn't done. I'm gonna end this, and hopefully that'll be it, and I'll just be ending it with showing it all being happy. Keep it purty.